Hi everyone, my name is Nicole. I'm joining you from Wichita, Kansas with your yoga flow on Genesis Go. For today's class, you'll just need an open space in your home. If you have access to a yoga mat, that is always a good option. Blocks, straps, if you have those available, but if not, you can always use a chair or even a bare space on your wall to help you get into some poses. You can use a towel or even an old shirt to help you stretch a little bit more easily if that is something that you're working on. But all of these poses will be accessible to you, and I will give you modifications to help you along the way. So we'll get started. Start by finding a comfortable seat. And that doesn't have to be anything too formal, especially starting out. You just want to find your baseline, find where you're beginning, so you can then see the progress that you've made at the end of class. Balancing the shoulders on top of the hips, the ears on top of the shoulders. Begin to observe the breath as it comes into the body and fills the chest. Equally important, feel the sensations that take place as you exhale. Both sides are important. The breath in, feeling the expansion as the air comes into the chest. And the exhale as the breath leaves and the body releases. One more time, smooth breath in, the body expands and lifts. Smooth breath out, the body softens and releases. On the next breath in, turn the palms up, sweep the arms up, looking up toward the hands, roll the shoulders open. Exhale to bring the hands down toward the heart. And again, breathing in, sweep the arms up, feel the front of the shoulders lift, back of the shoulders soften. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. Moving with the breath one more time. Smooth breath in, arms sweep up, you look up. Exhale to bring the hands down toward the heart. And taking the right hand beside you, look toward the right hand, reach the left arm over, allowing the right shoulder, right elbow to soften toward the mat. And then rolling the left shoulder open, looking underneath the arm as you lengthen through the side of the waist. Keep pressing down through both sitting bones, both sides of the hips. Take a breath in here. Stay here as you exhale. Bend the elbow, bring the shoulders upright. And take a breath in, arms sweep up. In between, bring the hands down toward the heart, nod the chin in toward the chest, and walk the hands forward. So from here, you'll press down with both hands, both sitting bones. Let the upper back round, chin nods in toward the chest, feeling this release through the low back and through the outside of the hips. Stay here, feeling the back expand as you breathe in. Feel the chest soften as you exhale. And then bring the shoulders back on top of the hips. Spine comes tall. Your left hand will come beside you, right arm will reach over. Start by looking toward the left hand, letting the left elbow, left shoulder soften. Again, making sure that you have even pressure in both sides of the hips. You'll roll the right shoulder open, tilt the head so you're looking underneath the right arm, lengthening through the right side of the waist, allowing the left side of the neck to soften. Take a breath in here. Stay here as you exhale. And bend the elbow, bring the shoulders upright. Again, take a breath in, arms sweep up, you look up. Hands come down to the heart to release. All right, some gentle twisting, then we'll come on to the hands and knees. So you'll keep your left leg as it is. Right sole of the foot will come to the mat. I'm kind of lining it up with the hips. So if that means that this leg needs to change positions, that's okay. We're more focused on the right leg. Sole of the foot is flat. Left hand comes to the shin, right hand comes behind you to help prop the spine upright. You're rotating the shoulders toward the inside of the right thigh, toward the right side of the room. And then you can either look toward the wall that you're turning in the direction of, or you can turn to look over the back shoulder if this feels okay on the neck. Think shoulders wide, front of the ribs soft. You're expanding across the mid-back, feeling that space rotate. Stay here, take a breath in. Stay here as you exhale, twisting more deeply. Come back to center. Let's switch the cross of the legs. And we'll come back to that low back stretch. Breathe in, arms sweep up. Exhale, hands come down toward the heart, chin nods in toward the chest, and then hands walk forward. So it doesn't matter how far you reach forward here. If it's better for you to take the hands wide and let the elbows bend, you can keep pressure in the sitting bones, that's fine as well. The most important piece is that you're allowing the shoulders to soften, allowing the back of the neck to release, and then feeling this expansion across the low back as you breathe in. Feeling the ribs soften as you exhale. And then walk the shoulders back on top of the hips. We'll twist to the other side. Your right leg will stay where it is. Left sole of the foot comes to the mat, and lining it up with the hip. Right hand comes to the front of the shin. Left hand comes behind you to help prop the spine up, staying nice and tall. Shoulders level as you turn toward the inside of the left knee or left side of the room. Either looking toward that wall in front of you or turning to look over the back shoulder. Stay here, take a breath in. Stay here as you exhale, twisting more deeply. Think wide across the back, soft in the front of the ribs. Okay, unwind, bring yourself back to center. So from here, we'll actually straighten both legs. I'm going to turn to the side. So our first forward fold. Breathe in, arms sweep up. Fold forward on the exhale. So the hamstrings still have to loosen up, so be kind to yourself here in the beginning. That might mean that you're just holding on to the shins, hands are down on the ground, the knees can even be bent here. But again, we're just taking a note, observing where we're starting. And that way we can see where we end after our progress and our hard work. Walk yourself back upright. All right, let's come on to hands and knees, tabletop position. Hands are underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. Now, if this is a little bit hard on the wrist, you can take the hands about an inch further forward. That can help decrease the angle on the wrist joint. You can also take the hands wider and even turn the fingers out just a notch. You may find that as you move through class, you don't need this modification, but give yourself a good place to start, a nice foundation. From here, inhale, abdomen and chest sink down. You look forward, shoulders wide. Exhale, round the back, look toward the thighs as you reach the spine up. Lift the sides of the waist away from the hands. Good, find your neutral spine, your flat back. Step one foot back and the other foot back to plank. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So we'll only be here for a few breaths. We're still warming up, bending the knees, heels can stay lifted. Think about lifting the sitting bones toward the ceiling as you press through the hands, the sides of the waist are long. Another breath. And then shift forward from here. Lower the knees, lower the chest, come all the way down. Tops of the feet, toes point straight back. Cobra pose, breathe in. Start low, so the spine muscles are doing the work. Sides of the waist are long, hands are light. Lower down on the exhale. And press up hands and knees, tabletop. Knees come wide, big toes come together. Soften the hips back toward the heels for child's pose. Chin comes in toward the chest, forehead releases down onto the mat. If it's hard to bring the forehead to the mat, you can make a fist with the hands. You can also just stay here with the knees and elbows, kind of the head hang down. So you can take what works. Ribs soften onto the thighs, take a breath in. Stay here as you exhale, softening the body. And shift forward, hips lift away from the heels. Bring the knees back underneath the hips in your tabletop position. Again, cat-cow. Inhale, let the abdomen and chest sink down. You look forward. Exhale, round the back. Look toward the thighs as you reach the spine up. Tailbone lengthens toward the back of the knees. Head hangs. The neutral spine, your flat back. Step one foot back and the other to your plank. And hips lift up and back, downward facing dog. You can bring some more movement into this down dog, reaching through one heel as you bend to the opposite knee. Walking out the dog, bending the other knee, reaching through the opposite heel. And do one more time each side here, stretching through the calves, the back of the thighs, keeping the hips, the shoulders centered. And level yourself out. And shift forward to lower the knees. Lower the chest, come all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet, toes point straight back. Cobra pose, breathe in. Hands are light in the beginning. Elbows pull back, sides of the neck are long. Lower down on the exhale. And press up hands and knees, tabletop. Knees come wide, big toes come together, hips soften back toward the heels for child's pose. Full breath in here. Full breath out. Nice job, shift forward, hands and knees. And bring the knees back underneath the hips. Let's step the left foot forward to a lunge position. Hands come to the top of the thigh. Lift the chest away from the thigh. It's long through the sides of the body. Front knee and toes are pointing straight forward. From here, breathe in, arms sweep up. Lengthening through the sides of the ribs. Palms face one another. Now, if this is a lot for the shoulders or the low back, you can bring your hands more forward so it's not so much of an arch, so much of a stretch. Find where you need to be. Be patient with yourself. Take a breath. And lower both hands down to the mat so you can walk this front foot over to the side if you need. Find your way back to plank position. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Just noticing the difference each time you come back to this pose. Areas have lengthened. And shift forward, lower both knees down. We'll come into that lunge on the left side. Left foot steps forward, right knee stays down. Hands come to the top of the thigh as you lift the shoulders away from the mat. Adjust the feet as you need. Make sure the front foot is flat, toes are pointing forward, and then both arms will sweep as you're ready. Find your stability. Lengthen and reach through the sides of the body. Take another moment here. Nice job lowering both hands down to the mat. Slide back, hands and knees, then plank pose. Hips lift up and back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Keeping the inhalation, exhalation nice and smooth and even. Firm pressure through all of the knuckles, all of the fingertips. Bend the knees, walk the feet to meet the hands, top of the mat. Hands come to the shins, keep the knees fairly bent here. Inhale to lengthen the spine, find your flat back, hands support the back. Fold forward on the exhale, abdomen to thighs, head releases. Again, inhale to lengthen, find your flat back. Press down through the feet, turn the palms up, sweep the arms to rise. Hands come down toward the heart to release. Start moving through our sun salutations. Breathe in, arms sweep up. Exhale to fold, arms sweep back as you lower down. Soften the knees. Take a breath in here, find your flat back, hands are either on the floor or the shins. Step back to your plank pose, as many steps as you need. Keep looking between the hands so the neck stays long. Shift forward, lower all the way down to the mat. Tops of the feet, toes point straight back, cobra pose. Breathe in, lengthening. You can begin to press into the hands more to lift higher. Lower down on the exhale. Press up hands and knees, tabletop. Toes curl, hips lift up and back, downward facing dog. Set your foundation. Keep the hips high, reach the right leg up, three-legged dog. Step the right foot to the hands, left knee will lower. We're coming back to that low lunge. Hands come to the top of the thigh to help lift you. Arms sweep up as you're ready. Palms face one another. Maybe the palms can come together. Breathe here. Just lower the hands down to the heart. Bring your right hand to the thigh, left fingertips come to the mat. Turning toward the inside of the right knee. You can even walk the right foot over slightly to start to open into the hip. Pressing the hand into the top of the thigh to help you rotate. Or right hand can lift, reaching over the shoulder. Shoulders and hands stack. Opening up through the front of the body, outside of the hips. Take a breath here. And unwind. Find your way to plank. Your vinyasa to downward facing dog. So that might mean chaturanga or all the way flat, which is where I'm going. Tops of the feet for cobra or upward facing dog. We'll all meet back downward facing dog as the hips lift, the back of the neck releases. So you're looking back toward the legs so the spine can stay long, head can be relaxed. Hips stay high, reach your left leg up, three-legged dog. Step the left foot to the hands, right knee lowers. Coming into our low lunge, pressing the shoulders upright. Take a breath here, arms sweep. Palms face one another, or maybe palms come together. Finding that stability. Just lower the hands down to the heart. We'll twist toward the left side this time. Your left hand will come to the top of the thigh. Right hand will come down to the mat. Left foot can walk over slightly to help with this positioning. Pressing the left hand into the thigh to rotate. Or left hand can reach. Find where you need to be today. Just observing. Last breath here. And unwind. Find your way to plank. Your vinyasa to downward facing dog. Taking your back bend of choice. All meet back downward facing dog. Hips lift. Back of the neck releases. Take a moment, reset here. So then your choice, bending the knees, walk or hop, feet to meet the hands. I'm walking. Take a breath in, find your flat back. Fold forward on the exhale. Breathe in, arms sweep as you rise. Roll the shoulders open. Exhale, hands come down to the heart to release. All right, I'm going to turn back toward you. We'll do a little bit more twisting. Bring the big toes to touch. So we'll start in chair pose. Knees bend, arms sweep around. And from here, take the hands to the heart. We'll start by twisting toward the right side. So before we worry about hooking the elbow, I want you to think about lifting the right shoulder and the right side of the rib cage toward the ceiling. Turning the left side of the waist down toward the mat. We're trying to keep the hips, the knees as centered as we can. So that might mean that you're hovering the left elbow in between the knees. Maybe you're able to hook it onto the knees. Or maybe it comes to the outside of the thigh. Opening that space across the mid-back. Find that comfortable spot to look at the eyes. So that might be to the feet, to the wall that you're turning toward, or you can turn to look over that top shoulder, your choice. Last breath here. Unwind, sweep the arms around, chair pose. Take a moment, take a breath. Fold forward on the exhale. Take a breath in, find your flat back. Fold forward to release. And both arms sweep as you rise, come all the way up. Hands come down toward the heart to release. All right, let's come into the other side. Big toes together, space in the heels. Knees bend, arms sweep around for chair. Hands come down toward the heart. So again, before we worry about hooking the elbow or trying to get an arm in a certain position, think about taking the left shoulder, the left side of the waist, and lifting it toward the ceiling. And then maybe you can tilt the shoulders down, finding the inside of the knees with the elbow, or just hovering. Maybe you're able to find the outside of the thigh. You will find that one side is more cooperative than the other today. That's okay. Either looking toward the ground, toward the wall in front of you, or if you want to add that challenge, looking over the top shoulder. Strong in the legs. Last breath here. Unwind, sweep the arms around, chair pose, you got it. Fold forward on the exhale. Take a breath in, find your flat back. Fold forward to release. Arms sweep as you rise, turn the palms up, roll the shoulders open. Hands come down to the heart. All right, so we'll revisit that here in a moment, but for now, let's step into Warrior Two. I'm gonna grab a drink in between, please feel free to do so. Step your right foot forward, left foot will step back on the mat. You can start with the hands on the hips as you position the feet. You want to make sure your front knee, front toes are going straight forward. Knee and ankle are stacked. Back leg is straight. There's a little bit of an angle to the back toes. Then the arms will come out beside you at shoulder height for Warrior Two. You're looking over the front fingertips. Breathing here. Even pressure in both legs, both feet pressed down firmly. Lower the back hand, flip the front palm to reverse your warrior. Level things out, Warrior Two. Now this is where you can use a wall or a chair or something beside you if you need extra help, or for triangle pose. Right hand will come to the front of the shin. So you're kind of leaning over that front leg, still pressing through your back foot as you straighten your front leg. You can keep the hand on the shin, just try not to push on the knee, or maybe fingertips come down to the mat. Turn your chest toward the side of the room so the shoulders stack. Still pressing down firmly through both feet. Left hand can reach so the left palm stacks on top of the shoulder. Feel the stretch through the inside of the right thigh, the back of the right thigh, even through the left side of the waist, still looking toward that front foot, maybe the wall in front of you, or you can turn to look at the top hand. You have one more breath here. Take the left hand to the hip, still pressing down through that back foot as you bend your front knee. Sweep your right palm back to reverse your warrior. And back to our starting position, Warrior Two. Nice work, everyone. Take the hands to the hips, turn both feet toward the side of the mat. Heel toe things back to center. Step the feet to the top of the mat. Take a breath in, sweep both arms up. Exhale to bring the hands down to the heart. Good, let's come into the other side. Left foot will step forward, right foot steps back. Hands start on the hips, just adjusting the feet as you need so the front knee and toes are going straight forward. Back leg is straight, toes at a bit of an angle. Shoulders face the side of the room, hands come out at shoulder height, palms are down. Looking over the front fingertips. Think broad through the tops of the shoulders, sides of the neck are long. Take a breath here. Keeping even pressure in both feet, lowering the back hand, Flip the front palm to reverse your warrior, lengthening through the side of the waist. Level the arms, take the right hand back to the hip. So for triangle pose, left hand can come to the shin. You can use the wall or you can use something on beside you, a chair or a table. As you begin to straighten your left leg, still pressing down through that back foot, no pressure on your left knee, shoulders turn toward the side of the room. Right hand can stay on the hip or right arm can reach. Now, of course, if you're able to bring the hand down to the mat, you can, but the legs are holding you up. They're doing most of the work here. Feeling that stretch through the back of the left thigh, the inside of the left thigh, and also through the right side of the waist. You got a strong body. One more breath here. Finding that spot to look with the eyes. You got it. Taking the right hand to the hip, still pressing down through that right foot as you bend the left knee. Left palm sweeps back to reverse your warrior. The shoulders level back to our starting position, warrior two. And take the hands to the hips, turn both feet toward the side of the mat, heel toe things back to center. And step to the top of the mat. Take a breath in here, sweep both arms up. Fold forward on the exhale, arms sweep back as you lower down. Take a breath in, find your flat back, and then step your feet back to move through your vinyasa. You can always go straight back down dog if the shoulders need a break. We'll all meet back down dog. Nice. Reset the hands, the feet. All right, let's revisit those twists. Take a breath in as you reach your right leg up, three-legged dog. Right foot will step to the hands, left knee lower. So we're coming back to that lunge. Hands come to the top of the thigh. Arms sweep as you're ready. Establishing this foundation. Then hands come down to the heart. So this is where we will twist like we did in that chair pose. So you're keeping the shoulders upright here to start as you turn. And then you can lean forward, maybe hook the elbow on the outside of the knee. And you might say, this is as far as I'm going today, and that's okay. If you want to take it a little bit further, you'll curl the back toes. As the back knee lifts, shoulders tilt down. Nice. Still opening up through the side of the waist. Back leg is active. That's helping to hold you upright. You have one more breath here. Stay strong. Unwind the body. Both hands come down. Plank pose. Hips lift up and back. Downward facing dog. You can vinyasa in between. If you'd like to meet me back here, that's cool too. Take what you need. Let's do the other side. Left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. Left foot steps to the hands, right knee lowers. We're coming to that lunge. Take your time finding your placement. Both arms sweep as you're ready. Revisiting this pose. Staying patient with yourself. Hands come down to the heart. Again, this side may be very different than the previous side. Just one step at a time. Shoulders stay lifted as you turn. And maybe you lean forward, try to hook the outside of the knee with the elbow. And again, this may be where you're staying today, and it may just be where you're staying on this side. It doesn't have to match the previous. If you want to challenge yourself, take it a bit further. Back toes curl. As your back knee lifts, your shoulders will tilt down. Got it. Wide across the tops of the shoulders. Left side of the waist opens toward the ceiling. You have one more breath here. You got it. Unwind. Hands come down. Plank pose. Hips lift up and back. Downward facing dog. Nice shift forward. Lower the knees. Bring the, actually come all the way down. Let's go flat. Chest comes down. Hands come underneath the forehead. Take the legs pretty wide here so they're more toward the edges of the mat. The front of the ribs are soft on your mat. Take a breath in. Feel the back expand and lift as you breathe in. Feel it soften and release as you exhale. Take the hands back beside you. Chin is on the mat. Palms are down, elbows straight. So now that we did all that twisting, we'll open up the front of the body, lift the shoulders away from the mat, reach both arms back alongside you, elbows straight. Legs are active. Lower the shoulders down, let one side of the face rest. Chin comes toward the shoulder, back of the neck is long. Bring the chin back to center. Hands come back beside you. As you breathe in, lift and lengthen. Arms reach back. Elbows straight. Now you can keep the legs down on the mat, or you can lengthen through the legs, keeping the knees straight, toes point back. Just hovering the legs, nothing too extreme. Lower everything down, opposite side of the face rest, chin toward the shoulder. Elbows roll out to the sides, back expands as you breathe. And bring the chin back to center, take the hands beside you. Press up hands and knees, tabletop. Knees come wide, big toes come together, sit back toward the heels for child's pose. Notice the difference in this child's pose. How has it changed from when we started this class? Where do you feel more open, more relaxed? You can keep the hands as they are, or you can bring the palms to touch so they're in a prayer position. Elbows will then bend so the hands come toward the ceiling or toward the back of the neck. So we're adding a tricep stretch in. Hands lower back to their starting position. Shift forward, hands and knees. Come to a seated position from here. Both legs will reach forward. Dandasana, staff pose. If you feel like the low back is rounding, or if you're leaning back in this position, you can take the hands beside you and actually walk yourself forward just a few inches, pressing into the hands, also helping to lengthen the low back or lift the low back. From here, breathe in, reach both arms up. Fold forward on the exhale. Now, if you're able to reach the feet, that's when you can let the upper back round and release. If you are not able to reach the feet, you can have the hands beside them, holding on to the shins, finding whatever space works for you. But rather than focusing on if you're able to reach the toes, instead see if you have made some form of progress in how this feels from the beginning. Notice what feels better or different from when you first did this pose at the beginning. Slowly inch yourself upright. Bend the right knee, bring it out to the side. Sole of the foot comes to the inside of the left thigh. If this is not comfortable on your knee, you can change the foot position or even bring the foot over to the side. But we'll be turning the torso so that it is centered with the left leg, and then walking the hands toward the left foot, either resting alongside the leg or holding onto the foot if you are able to reach it. Shoulders level. You have the feeling of reaching the inside of the right knee away from the body. Finding space along the right side of the waist. Bring the shoulders back on top of the hips. Straighten both legs just for a moment. And then the left knee will bend. Sole of the left foot comes to the inside of the right thigh. Torso is centered with the right leg. You're walking the hands forward toward the foot, either resting alongside the leg on the mat or holding onto the foot, shoulders level. Reaching the inside of the left knee away from your torso. Lengthening through the left side of the waist. One more breath here. Bring the shoulders back on top of the hips. Straighten both legs. One more time. Take a breath in. Arms sweep up. Fold forward on the exhale. Noticing the changes. Even if it's a small shift, it's still an important one. Bring yourself back upright. Bend the knees will come onto the back from here. Hands can hold on to the back of the thighs to help ease you back. Hugging both knees in toward the body. Allowing the shoulders to soften. Baddha Konasana, or bound angle. You'll keep the knees bent, lower both feet down onto the mat. Turn the knees out, bring the soles of the feet together. So now the outside of the feet are resting on the mat. Hands can just rest along the surface of the abdomen or the front of the hips. There's a gentle arch to the low back, curve to the back of the neck. Either looking toward the ceiling or letting the eyes close. Allow the corners of the jaw to soften. The front of the throat releases. Tops of the shoulders glide down. Slowly bring the knees back to center. The hands will help them come back. The knees then hug in toward the chest. Reach the legs long, reach the arms overhead. Take a full body stretch. And come into your final Shavasana. The legs come out wide, arms come out wide beside you, palms turn up. So a little bit of a bend to the elbows. The eyes move in the direction of the ceiling, and the eyelids softly close. Allowing yourself to rest here in the stillness for a few moments. Feeling the sensations that take place as the air comes into the body. As the breath releases. Feeling the sides of the waist, the hips glide down toward the mat. Feeling the surface of the body become light. The back of the body sinks down. And to ease your attention back into the room, bringing small motion to the fingers, to the toes, rolling out the wrists and the ankles, bending the knees, feet come flat onto the mat, roll over toward the right side, and then use the hands to press the body up to a seated position. Eyes stay softly closed, palms come to touch in front of you. Just noticing this difference from when you began. These changes that you created for yourself, both in the mind and in the body. Take a full breath in here, feel the chest expand and lift. The shoulders release, the chin comes down as you exhale. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your yoga practice today. For letting me come into your home and sharing this part of your day with me. I appreciate your time. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this yoga flow class. If you'd like to access more classes, whether it's yoga or any type of fitness or exercise, we have more available to you on the Genesis Facebook page and also on the Genesis Go YouTube channel. So you can check more of those out there. And we'll have more videos coming your way very soon. Thank you so much. Take care.